if not in 2020. The kind of interesting story there to see whether or not he has what it takes to compete in the stock cars at a national series. But for now, his focus is on 4 open wheels. Starting in 8th. Oh, they're already beating and banging each other there before they come to the green flag.
There it is, a little extracurricular activity, but now we get things straightened out, get him up to speed, and boy, like he was fired out of a harpoon gun, Stephen Chapman. Can he beat Gagne headed into the corner? The answer is yes, he can.
Sparks fly a bit deeper in the field. Narducci way up high through the corner as Bert Ouellette had a handful in his race car. They've gathered it back in. The battle is on now for the 3rd spot as they come off turn number 4 here on the opening circuit. Chapman leads it. Gagne is there, and then Chris Vaines is working the bottom with corner on his back bumper.
Well, that looked like a balloon with the air coming out of it, but he was able to keep things under control. Now making a move on the outside. Noah corner. He's in 4th. He's in 3rd as he almost got underneath Ethan DeRocher. DeRocher gets his spot back, but corner is there, and so is Wayne Burrows in car number 32.
Burrows working the outside lane.
Car skidding on the grass. Looks like Nate Pitko in car number 24.
Green flag still out. Now the caution is out. Pitko pointed the wrong direction off the end of the front straightaway.
As he skidded his way through weed whacker country.
This is why I love the light modified. Just the intensity ratchets up when these guys get on the racetrack. Ethan DeRocher hanging on to that 3rd spot. Got pretty crazy from 3rd on back. The top 2 got away, Chapman and Gagne. And then from 3rd on back with DeRocher, corner, Burrows, and Vaines. Pretty wild there for a moment or two.
And the competitors gave Bert Ouellette time to get back to normal because he looked like a hula girl there all over turn number 2 and finally was able to stabilize that car. Keith Caruso making an early trip onto pit road. He has just had no luck at all in that car. He said it took him a couple of weeks to get the bugs out, and he is headed right into the paddock.
Yeah, once you figure out one thing, then it's another problem you got to try to figure out. It's a tough game, this racing
the game
thing.
is always one step ahead of you.
Narducci was nearly caught up when Ouellette started losing the handle over there in turns 1 and 2, and he lifted way out of it, cost him a spot or 2, so he slid back now to 9th. Didn't have the good start he was hoping to have.
But the big thing was he was able to keep the car off the wall.
Yes, both of them, all 3 of them.
So it is Stephen Chapman. He won the first light modified race that he ever competed in. It was a come from behind effort when he got by Brett Gagne to get the win at Waterford. And he has done well this year, not only here at Thompson, but also at Stafford. Both his brothers race, and his dad, a former competitor, mainly at the Riverside Park Speedway, where he competed in strictly stocks and pro stocks. So Brett Gagne in car number 88, driving for Larry Goss, who one of the good guys in motorsports. Biggins Auto has come on board as a sponsor this year, along with Start Finish Motorsports. So it has been a very impactful 2 laps. A lot has happened. Mainly that Brian Narducci was lucky to still be in contention as the lights almost came out on him on lap number 1. So we should be ready to go back to work. The lights are off of the pace car, and that means the next time around we should be at full speed.
Field is doubled up down there in turns 1 and 2, getting ready to get back at it here. 18 laps still remain. And our light modified main event, who can unseat Brian Narducci, or can they?
Well, he is restarting on the inside, and we'll see if that makes a difference as we get ready to raise the curtain on our light modifieds. On the outside, Stephen Chapman has it cranked up.
Gagnon keeps them honest, though, as they come to the green flag. Black and green number 88 drives deep down to the bottom of turns 1 and 2. He loses a nose on exit, though. Corna nearly collects him coming off the turn. And it's Chapman away with the lead.
And here is Corner. He has inserted himself into third. Willett fourth. Mikey Flynn having a battle with Ethan DeRocher. And Flynn, he will wingding his way. Now it is Corner getting by Gagnon. So Corner is in second, chasing after Chapman.
Corner looks really strong tonight. Meanwhile, Mikey Flynn all over the back bumper of Bert Ouellette through the turn. A couple of cars getting way out of the groove. Chris Vane's one of them. Narducci was caught in the back of that. He's dropping like a rock to the back of the field. And they are still going at it hot and heavy inside the top 5, including Wayne Burrows now working to the inside of DeRocher.
So Narducci is in 12th place. Let's see if he can make a recovery. Right now, the man to catch is Chapman. Narducci on the inside gets by Andrew Less. So he picks up one spot, but he needs to pick a lot more than that up, and he has a lot of time in which to do it. Now going after Johnny O'Sullivan.
Here they come down in the corner. He's deep in the field. He's got a lot of ground to make up and not a lot of time to get there. O'Sullivan runs high. Narducci on the bottom as he tries to track down Chris Vanes directly ahead.
And Vanes usually is a very difficult man to get by. We'll see what happens here as Narducci missiles that car, looking to go low against Vanes. There he does, power move. And he is able to pull it off as he was fired out of a skeet shooter.
Chris Carell putting a move on. The bottom of turns 1 and 2. Seeing if he can get by Ethan DeRocher. We've got one car spinning. Down in turn number 2, caution is out.
Matt Reznicki, the guy who wound up in Mother Nature Boulevard beyond the second turn. So we will have another yellow flag, and that will narrow the gap between Stephen Chapman and Noah Corner. Also give a little bit of a relief to Brian Narducci, who is running in 9th.
Reznicki did a nice job when that car spun around, kept it off any contact, got it rolling nice quickly again. And they are going to give the field a 1 to go signal here when they come back to the line. It'll be a quick caution. 7 laps in.
And the man in the spotlight has been Stephen Chapman, the 15-year-old. But he is going to get some opposition from a student at Central Connecticut State University, Noah Corner. There are a lot of drivers who go to Central Connecticut. Mike Christopher, another one. But Noah Corner looking to get off to a quick start here. And it usually takes Chapman about 100 feet to get up to speed. And then by the time he gets to the second corner, he's on top of his game.
Chapman jumped early. And will it help him? He's got a slight edge as they come to the green flag up there in the high lane. 2x2 through the field.
Corner is right with him.
Yeah, he is. But lost it there off turn 2. Chapman holds on for the moment. How about Bert Ouellette? Outside that red modified.
The Streb chiropractic car getting by Gagnon on the outside as Gagnon came back to life momentarily. He seems to be good on the short runs. Now keep an eye on Narducci as he thunders his way underneath Wade Burrows. And Narducci trying to get into the top 6.
Narducci's coming back to life. Just threw a right elbow on Mikey Flynn, who tripped it up the racetrack and lost 2 spots. Narducci on the charge.
Underneath Gagnon.
Drastic times call for drastic measures. And Narducci is making it happen. He's up to 4th.
And that little springboard move worked against Gagnon. Now it is Noah Corner and Bert Ouellette in front of him. Still has plenty of time. 9.5 laps to go. But the speeding bullet at the front of the field, the brightest flip on the radar screen, continues to be Chapman. He is running slightly faster right now than Narducci is.
Narducci still has 2 cars between he and Chapman, too, and that's Noah Corner and Bert Ouellette. They're racing side by side for second. Contact. Corner goes around. Narducci gets through, and meanwhile we've got big trouble behind there. Multiple cars involved. Corner was stopped on the inside lane of the racetrack. Many of the other cars trying to stop and avoid him. Chris Carell is involved. DeRocher's in it. Chris Vane is in it. Anthony Marvin is in it in the 07.
And John O'Sullivan was a driver who stomped on that number 31 car while it was stranded on the grass. O'Sullivan, with nowhere to go, climbed over the side of that number 31 car. And the sparks were flying from Johnny O's machine. You see him stranded to the left of the scoreboard, right across from the O and Thompson, as he took a pretty good lick as he made contact with Corner. So half of the field, it seemed, got involved in that.
Turn 2 just became a junkyard. The 15 car is involved. Johnny O'Sullivan, as you had mentioned, Matt, that car paused just beneath the Anytime Realty scoreboard here on the back straightaway.
Mark Burke is a little bit farther down the track than O'Sullivan. John O'Sullivan climbs out of the car. And he is talking to track officials. We have, about 6 cars involved in that altercation. Ethan DeRocher, Christopher Beans, all were parts of that, and it all started when Corner was battling for second place, and he wound up in the grass. He and Willette in an intense battle for second and third.
Race leaders are parked on the front straightaway at the end of the front stretch down in turn 1. Some of the other cars scattered around the track. Safety team quickly trying to pull some of these cars apart, get them pulled back down to the infield or off turn number 2 into the paddock area. So this race can continue on for the final 9 laps.
So we will reconvene on June 15th. Make your plans to join us. What better way to spend a Saturday than here at the Big T? Remember, the races aren't over even when they're over, because the clubhouse will be open, a chance for you to, I think the big game will still be going on, Joe, between the Warriors and the Raptors. So you can watch the end of that game and talk to your friends about what you have seen tonight. So a perfect way to stop and relax and get some of the energy out by stopping at our clubhouse up the hill after the races are over. And we will have sports on the TV and plenty of good things to eat and drink.
Keep in mind, just 10 days from now, Saturday, June 15th, we will have more racing action here at Thompson Speedway. That'll be the American Canadian Tour 75-lap main event. Whelen All-American Series action with Sunoco Modifieds in town, limited sportsman, mini stocks, and light modifieds. All part of some of the on-track activity coming up. It's a Saturday night show, June 15th. And then at the end of the month, June 30th. June ends pretty good here at Thompson. We've got a Sunday show. Looking forward to that one as well. So put that one on your calendar. Join us for some Whelen All-American Series weekly action. And boy, with those Sunoco Modifieds, were they awesome to watch.
And Ryan Preece was able to pull out a victory, starting 8th, finishing 1st. And I think everybody will be talking about how quickly Max McLaughlin adopted to Thompson Speedway, as it looked like he had raced here even longer than his dad had raced here. Whatever he was told, he followed those instructions perfectly, as he had a chance to win until he was overtaken by Preece with 3 to go. Preece really never got it going tonight in the Whelen Modified Tour, and Justin Bonsignor continued his magic. Right now, we still have a mess in the second corner, and we're trying to get that unraveled. Anthony Marvin's number 07. Anthony, another one of the youngsters in the crowd, Even though he started his career in the Legends division, the one thing he wanted to do was to race modifieds. So they are trying to pry his car loose. It all started. Now let's go down to trackside with Pete Falcone.
Yeah, well, guys, of course, you see the carnage on these race cars over here. The guy who was kind of at the beginning of all that and just kind of had to duck because the traffic was coming is Noah Corner. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all good. Car got out from underneath me, looped it coming out of 4, but just goes to show you that spotters can't even save people that don't look past their air cleaner, and that's all I got to say.
Yeah, because a number of guys ran right in there, but the car's pretty well bent up, particularly here in the left rear, but you're okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a couple long nights. That's all I got to say.
All right, Noah Corner, who had a great run going until got away from him, and then everybody piled in. So the rest of the drivers all take the mandatory ride in the back of the ambulance just down to the infield. They're all okay. Everybody get out of their cars okay, but the back of that ambulance looks like a school bus with everybody that's riding in back into the infield in it.
So a full house in the ambulance, but Noah Corner a little dejected. It was only less than 2 weeks ago that he had one of the finest hours in his racing career when he got the lead on the final turn of the final lap from Teddy Hodgson and was able to win his first ever light modified race at Stafford. Former Legend champion, not only on the oval but on the road course, as he has gone all over America and Europe competing in the Legend division. And he and his brother Glenn competing this year in the light modifieds. And the man who is the big supporter of both Glenn and Noah, their dad, Glenn Corner Sr., and he works hard to maintain all those cars. So when you see some success by Noah Corner, his dad had a lot to do with that. Right now, we are under red flag conditions still as Anthony Marvin's number 07 gets pulled away. Burt Marvin, his dad, the Thompson Sunoco Modified champion in 2001. On that year, Ted Christopher won the national championship, but he didn't win the track championship. Light modified victory. So a couple of guys going for their first, and Narducci going for his 7th straight. And Brett Gagne going for his 2nd light modified win. So it looks like we should be ready to go momentarily, and it will be a shootout because Chapman, his last couple of laps, they were quicker, not by much, but quicker than Narducci. In the last lap, Narducci was quicker, but only by 2/1000ths of a second. Narducci running 20.444, Chapman running 20.446. So that's almost a dead heat when you're running that closely together.
Narducci's lap was the quickest lap of the race the last time they came through.
And Chapman was only 2/1000ths away from that. So both of those guys are really in the jet stream tonight.
So still getting all the lineups sorted out here and getting ready to go. Wayne Burrows got that 32 back out onto the racetrack. The gates are closed. We should be getting ready to go under the green flag here momentarily.
And we started with 17, and right now we have 10 cars ready to finish things off. So a 9-lap scoot for the loot with Stephen Chapman, car number 14. He has won divisions in just about everything pertaining to go-karts that you can get, from Tigers to Cubs to Junior Outlaws to Senior Outlaws. Has won in the Legend cars and has one career victory in a light modified, trying to get his first at Thompson But in order to do that, Burt Willett, he's pretty crafty. And Willett, one of the friendliest guys ever you'll meet at a racetrack. He's always got a smile on his face. And he'll be smiling even more if he can figure out a way to get past Chapman. And then the straw that stirs the drink is named Brian Narducci.
Field will be doubled up this time through. Chapman will start on the outside. Burt Willett to the bottom. Still not giving them the one to go yet. They'll double up the field. Row number 2 again is Narducci bottom. 88 Gagnon up top. They'll get the one to go next time through.
So we are ready for one more exclamation point here at Thompson Speedway tonight. Narducci having the inside position. That means he'll have to go through Burt Willett in order to get at the leader, Stephen Chapman.
Chapman's ready, man. He came down the front straightaway that time, up on the wheel. Knows this restart could be it.
He was ready since he arrived here. As he told us, he was in for something good tonight. We're about to find out how good is the field. Crawls its way into turn number 3, but it is ready to come to life as it enters turn 4. And, Joe, this restart could decide the race.
Willett looking pretty good there on the bottom side. Green flag comes out, but Chapman able to put a wheel out in front as they head off the end of the front straightaway into turns 1 and 2. Neck and neck, and it's Chapman with the advantage.
Chapman wandered up the track and got some bite because of it. Now Narducci fighting for third, is able to get by Gagnon. Trying to get by Willett to move into second. Willett, a tough obstacle from Narducci to handle.
Well, Narducci overdrove the entry, slid up the racetrack on exit, and got into Burt Willett. Now he's in the tire tracks. 8 to go this time through. Here's Narducci looking low on the back straightaway.
Looking for room on the inside. Willett has the bottom of the track surrounded. They both go up high into the balcony. That means there's plenty of room on the inside for Narducci. And shutting the door is Burt Willett.
Willett making it tough for Narducci. He enters high, trying to get that run in the banking off turn number 2. It's not too effective here, though. Meanwhile, one car slow to the bottom makes its way down pit lane. Chapman out in front.
That is Keith Caruso limping off the track. Here is Willett holding his ground, protecting his second place turf. Narducci will take a shot coming out of turn number 2, going down low. It is make or break time for Brian Narducci.
Here's a battle for 4th. Flynn went by Gagnon. Gagnon trying to repay the favor in turn 4.
And he does, and Gagnon is able to skateboard his way into 4th. But look at Flynn. He comes to life at the start-finish line, and Flynn moves back into the number 4 position. Here comes Narducci trying it again. And what a job Burt Willett is doing. Now Narducci thunders his way down low like lava out of a volcano. And Brian Narducci has moved into second.
Used the Nerf bar to do it. He got into Burt Willett, who went up the racetrack just enough. And now does Narducci have enough time? 3.5 laps to go. Can he track down Stephen Chapman?
Now on the last lap, Chapman was faster. Let's see what happens when they hit the line. Chapman, 20.707. Narducci, 24.79. Narducci is 0.3 of a second quicker than Chapman.
He's closing, but he's only got 2.5 laps to do it. And when he gets to Chapman, what's he going to do with him? 2 to go. At the line, Narducci is coming.
They helter-skelter their way into turn number 1. Narducci gnawing, whittling away at the advantage by Chapman. Chapman, after his first Thompson victory, he thunders his way into the 4th corner, going high to get the momentum. One more time around. Brian Narducci's winning streak is on the line.
How aggressive will Narducci be? It's going to take a dive bomb effort into turn number 3. Will he do it? 1 lap, 1 car length. Here's Narducci to the bottom, slides him up the racetrack. Chapman to get back to the accelerator, but Brian Narducci maintains his undefeated streak in a last corner, last lap pass to get the win of the light modifieds, and Narducci has done it again.
When they exited turn number 2, I didn't think he had a shot. When they got to turn 3, Narducci was able to turn on the firepower, and he just napalmed his way underneath Chapman with just a move, an unbelievable move by Brian Narducci, as he looked like he was fired like fire out of a dragon's nostrils on Game of Thrones. That is how impressive that move was. Maybe one of the most effective laps ever in the young career of Brian Narducci. Is 7 for 7. Has never lost a race at Thompson. If we had a 19-lap feature, that wouldn't have been the case. But on lap number 20, it turned into gold for Narducci. And earlier today, Pete Falcone and I were riding around, and we were talking to Stephen Chapman, and he predicted a victory tonight. He almost got it correct, but Brian Narducci just had too much muscle when it mattered the most. So the well-wishers are at the Critical Signs Victory Lane. And somewhere, Brian Narducci is ready to join them. Here he is. And Brian Narducci is settled into Critical Signs Victory Lane, much to the delight of his rooting section. His mom is out there. And he will get the checkered flag for photos, and he really drove the wheel off it for the last lap. Did you think he had a chance heading into the last lap?
I didn't think he was going to get there in time. But somehow he pulls another rabbit out of the hat, and he got it done. Let's go down to Critical Signs Victory Lane. Pete Falcone is there.
And he's getting ready to climb out of the car. As we get He is out now. He keeps the streak alive. A round of applause for Brian Narducci. Back in Critical Signs Victory Lane, and this one with a little bit of drama.
Yeah, I had to work my nuts off for that one. We got in a little jingle in the beginning of the race and knocked the toe out a little bit, and I knew we had the fast car and the 14 was fast, but I could see he was getting tight at the end, and I figured if I set him up to 1 and 2, I figured it was Ted's birthday today, so I'd pull a bottom shot into 3, and that's what happened. So got to thank everybody that helped out, all my sponsors, and hopefully keep the streak going next time.
Yeah, I guess so. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And he's a little tired, too, a little winded, but happy to be in Critical Signs Victory Lane. He gets a little bit of a shower down here for his congratulations, but he keeps the streak alive and wins again. Time to take it home, guys.
Well, thank you, Pete, and thank you for all your efforts down on pit lane tonight. We had you very busy with all the activity that took place here at Thompson Speedway. Race fans, been a great night of action. We thank you so very much for deciding to join us here on a Wednesday night at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. And on behalf of the entire staff of the Speedway, Matt Buckler, Pete Falcone, and all the management and staff that make events like this happen,